Challenge mode incursion is down, and to be honest with you, it's not as hard as the developers said it was. In this very quick guide, I'm going to take you through everything you need to know to make sure you don't have any problems on challenge mode Clear Sky. Guys, welcome back. It's Skill Up here with another Division video. Today I'm going to be taking you through a very quick guide for how to complete Clear Sky on challenge mode. The spoiler alert is that it really isn't all that different from the hard mode. The developers sort of indicated that might be the case, but it's not. So today I'm going to walk you through very quickly everything that you need to know to make sure you don't have any problems. So the very first thing I'll say is in relation to group composition, which is really important for this. So I ran this obviously with 4 people. You could probably do this with less. I'm sure someone's going to solo it very soon. The composition that we ran with was a very high tanky or high toughness person. I actually ran this with MarcoStyle, and he was running his typical tanky tactician build, providing a lot of healing on himself, a lot of damage mitigation, and he was the designated fuse carrier. It was his job to do that because he had the most health, the most toughness, and he was focused on keeping himself up while he was doing that. Myself, in terms of the build I was running a fairly cookie cutter 2-2-2 build. I was bringing final measure just to make it a bit safer against any of the mortar fire. You know, I could have absolutely dropped my final measure if I wanted to and got a bit more damage. I was running tacticians for the to get myself about 30k skill power, and I was running a very moderate amount of firearms. I think my total DPS was around about 140, 150k on my SMG and a little bit less on my capable M1A. My other friend that I was running with was running a very similar build to that. He just runs generally a balanced skill power sort of build. And the final person, I'm actually not too sure what he was running, but I'm fairly sure it was a fairly cookie cutter build, nothing special there. In terms of the abilities that we were bringing to the table, we all had heal just so we could keep ourselves topped up. I had pulse. We got smart cover from 2 people because it's just such an important buff to have at all times. And I think we also had a bit of CC going as well from my friend Razor. I think he was bringing gas grenades that we could deploy when we really needed it. But essentially what you really want is someone with a lot of toughness. You want 2 people bringing proper skill power buffs through pulse and through smart cover. You want everyone running heal, and then you probably just want a flex pick, so to speak. You know, someone running whatever they like. A little bit of CC is going to be helpful. That person, you know, running the CC could probably run a stronger firearms focused build. So that's your group composition. Nothing special there. Don't think that this is beyond you. So long as you've got decent gear, you know, you're pretty much ready to go. In terms of the gear sets that we were bringing, the only thing of note was that Marco was running his tactician's build, so he got lots of tankiness out of that and max skill power for his heals and the like. And we were also running my friend was running a 4-piece sentry, so he was able to mark some of the bigger targets with his marksman rifle, so we could do a lot more damage on them. But again, that really wasn't a big deal either. I mean, there were lots of targets that we brought down that didn't have the sentry's call on it, and that was fine. You know, this is not challenging in the sense that it's well and truly above anything you've experienced. If you can handle DZ6 comfortably and you have a coordinated group, you are going to be fine. So if you don't have Sentry's call buff, it's not the end of the world, but it's definitely nice to have. In terms of the strategy that we ran with in the first area, very, very simple stuff. You know, it's pretty much exactly the same as you saw in the hard mode. You know, you're kind of hanging at the back with a marksman rifle is quite handy. You know, a few people up further forward with SMGs. You know, you basically just bring down the targets. You're going to have mortar fire on you, and I found that it typically focused the person towards the back of the group. It was really chaining on me quite hard, but maybe that was just coincidence. I don't know. But yeah, you're just basically hanging back there, you're popping targets, and you're doing the best you can just to sort of move through this nice and easy. Nothing to it. You won't struggle with this part at all. We just had Marco picking up the explosives, planting them on the door, and then just rinsing and repeating until that part was complete. Speaking now about the final part, the actual Columbus Circle, we probably did this on, I think, our second attempt after we had tried to do it properly. We tried a few different sort of like fun strategies before that, such as like, can we kill it without, or finish it without actually killing anything but the boss by, like, you know, chaining survival links and spam heals on each other and all those sort of things. Eventually we gave up because it was frankly just too boring and it wasn't working. When we tried to do it, we got on about our second attempt. The way to do this is actually just to drop down off the bus at the start, brings you into the area, and you pretty much don't want to leave this corner for the entirety of the encounter, right? Now, this gives you a huge amount of security. There's actually plenty of barricades that you can hide behind there, but there's also a house, and this house is great because it gives you just a lot of protection in terms of it's a full area that you can stand behind, and when things get really hairy, you can sort of move back behind that building, give yourself a lot of cover there and a lot of safety. It also, we found, really funneled the enemies towards us in really manageable directions, rather than being, everyone attacking from a variety of places. It was just those two spaces. It was the left or the right of that building we needed to watch ourselves on, and it became pretty simple after that. We really just set up camp there. We made sure we had smart cover up at all times, and we just made sure we cleared out the enemies. Now, what happened after a while is that when we felt like there was enough enemies down, Marco would go forward and he would pick up the fuse, and then, once he had that, he would basically run back. We would be throwing heals on him while we would do that. We'd also popped a survival link just to make it nice and safe for him. He ran the fuse to the box, and then we actually all stayed in this corner here. The reason being that we actually had the vast majority of aggro on us at this point. Most of the enemies were coming our way. Marco is quite tanky, so he can actually take one or two mobs, sort of ignoring them as he goes and just healing himself up. So it's actually better for you guys just to stay nice and safe in the corner and wait for your tank to do their thing. Once we had that first fuse box, we then moved obviously to the second one, which is around the other side. We did move with our tank when that happened. We did move with Marco, ran with him, walked him back to the middle. At this point, there's going to be a lot of shit in the middle, right? Because there would have been a lot of enemies that have spawned, and you would have moved on the left side, and you would have moved around to the right. That means there's going to be a lot of enemies waiting for you in the middle. So be prepared for that. Maybe have another survival link ready, and just basically aim to work it through. Cast a smart cover and make sure you have that down. Obviously have your pulse active. Throw out some CC if you need to, but just make sure you get that middle area clear, because you want to be able to advance out of that middle area and back towards the left side to get into this corner to progress the rest of it. So yeah, this part at the end now, once we're back in the corner, is by far and away the most difficult. It seems like the spawn rate of the enemies actually ramps up at this point. They're really coming at you pretty thick and fast. You're going to get plenty of the fatties, the big LMG guys coming out, and it's very important to manage those, because otherwise you will get overwhelmed by them. So really recommend training your DPS on those. But you're really just sitting here and you're just waiting for the boss to come at you. He came at us from the middle area, but he could absolutely come from a different direction. It all depends. And then after that, it's just about bringing him down. Now you can actually hit his backpack. The main goal that you have is to get this man to dance, get the fat man to dance, because if you do that, he's going to be really exposed. And the way you obviously make him dance is by blowing up his backpack. The way that you do that is by shooting it, and the way that you shoot it is actually by sort of, even if he's got his shield up in front of you, you can still shoot it because his backpack actually sticks out to the side. So where you can, try and shoot it. But your number one priority is actually just to keep yourselves clear of enemies. And it's really hard to stay up and sort of, as in keep up with the spawn rate of the enemies. They do come at you fast. It is going to be really useful to call out targets. It is going to be useful if you've got Sentry's Call, have smart cover down, have pulse active, just really bring targets down, because if anything gets on top of you, it can really, really wreck you. But yeah, once you've got those opportunities where the enemies are down and you're kind of clear and you've got a good sort of 20 to 30 meters between you and the next enemy, that's the time where you get DPS on the boss and just DPS him as hard as you can, get him to dance, and then burn him down. And that's really it. That after that you have to clear up the remaining enemies, so you can still wipe here, so don't stuff that part up, you're going to be very upset. But no new enemies spawn at this point. It's basically yours for the losing. And then yeah, that's it. So look, overall great. I think this is really well done, to be honest with you. I really didn't much appreciate the hard mode of this. I found it way too easy, and I know that was by design, so I really shouldn't complain too much. But I was like many of you, looking for a challenge, and I feel like this is a good challenge. Like, it's nowhere near as hard as the developers made it out to be. Like, they really said that you needed to spice it up with a whole different strategic mix and approach and blah blah blah. That's not true. Sit in the corner, burn through targets, have someone that's nice and tanky do the running for you, and you're totally fine. But overall though, I really enjoyed it because it did feel like it was a very well-tuned experience, and I did appreciate it. And I can see what they mean in terms of, if you go in there with a properly organized team, you can really burn through this quite quickly. You could get it on farm, you could, and it just feels good. You don't want like Falcon Lost where it just takes forever, no matter how coordinated or how geared you are. This is an experience that scales with the coordination and the gear of your group. group, and that is absolutely ideal. So I really do applaud Massive for that. I do think this is a job well done on this one. You know, I got some items, nothing special. However, Marco got the new Medved SASG type shotgun, the one that's sort of been hidden away for now, and now we know where it drops. I'm going to be doing a review on that very soon because Marco very graciously gave that to me. So big up Marco, love you, man. That's super helpful, and I'll have that video review out on that hopefully tonight. But for now, guys, that's it. I'm also going to put up a full gameplay of this. I'm going to cut out all the stupid wipes where we were trying to kind of just do dumb strategies, and I'll just show you the full end-to-end clear with all the gameplay commentary so you can hear MarcoStyle getting annoyed at us for not having enough toughness. Apparently we all need to run around with 500k toughness, otherwise we're playing the game wrong. But that's just obviously Marco's preferred build at this point. But guys, thanks very much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please drop it a like. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do subscribe. I'm going to E3 in 2 more sleeps, and then I'm going to be covering the Division in detail over there, meeting with the developers personally, and looking at the new Underground expansion, which hopefully comes by the end of the month. We hear rumors of 28th of June, but we don't know. I'll let you know as soon as I find out. Thanks very much for watching, guys. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the Dark Zone. Bye-bye.